last time you saw the Bug, I got it pretty much prepped to strip apart and get the body off. Well, I spent about 4 days breaking all the bolts loose that were under the chassis. I think there's like 26 total, and those bolts were some of the hardest bolts I've ever had to break through. It took about an hour per bolt and crud on all the threads. That basically half of the bolt is eroded and gone. So just working the wrench out slowly back and forth and just literally just trying not to snap any bolts. You can't really get any PB blaster in there because the thread channel is inside of the heater channel here, so you can only go upwards. I snapped 3 of them out of like the 26. That's not a bad ratio. Went ahead and tested it, and for sure body is free now. And I stripped all the windows out too, so we're getting all new seals. So I just cut all the seals, popped all the windows out. Hold on here, gonna help lift off the body.
Light work.
We put a pallet down, we're gonna try setting it right on the pallet. Ready? Watch your back. Watch your back.
Go for a little drive?
Yeah.
Hey, when you're drunk and you can't drive,
Watch the corner.
so you just gotta pick up your go home.
Alright boys, we have a huge VW update for you today. As you could tell, this is what we got busy on last time. We took the body off, literally just me and Juan. It's crazy how simple these cars are, that 2 people and we were able to pull the body off. Like I mentioned, it was literally just the bolts on the bottom of this car that were such a pain to do. Everything else smooth butter. Man, we have so much stuff for the VW in here right now. This is madness, boys. I don't even know where to begin, but as you know, because you just saw, we took the body off the pan, so we needed new floor pans because we're putting new floors in because the ones that are currently in it are clapped out. Seat brackets made that we welded directly to the OEM mounts for the seats, so we'd have to cut those off. There's also huge problems with the floor pan itself. It's rusted out in many spots, it's damaged, it's very bent, it's just really damaged. So we had to get new floor pans, and I'm very happy because I ordered these floor pans and they were actually on back order and they came in early. They said that they were going to be like a month later, but they showed up early, and as you can see, brand new floor pans for the VW. It's actually a lip that the floor pan sits on right here going down this tunnel, so we have to like cut as close as we can to that lip. Then we're gonna have to pry the old pan off that lip, clean all that up. I'm not sure if we're gonna be replacing these right here. I guess they'd be like the support bars for the pan that come off of the tunnel itself, but we do have new ones of those too because it came with the pan. I don't know, it might be harder just to try to separate these and not damage it rather than just cutting the whole thing off, but that's something to figure out later. Now, from the floor pan up, we have these seats in it. Now these are Bride replica seats, and the waist is so tiny. Like, I built the Bug when I was 16 years old and they were tight then. 11 years later, and I promise you, I could barely fit in these things. They're super uncomfortable, and honestly, I just don't think they match the car. These are super, you know, 90s, like early 2000s style, and this car is from 66. So I kind of wanted, with the plans of rebuilding this car, I really wanted to do it clean and like correct, honestly, to the car itself. One part of doing that was to get rid of these Bride bucket seats. So I was able to find OEM seats. Now, if you know VW stuff, these are pretty easy to rebuild. They're very simple seats, absolutely just stripped down to frames. Here's one of them right here. The backing's off, but I tossed this one together, not even like bolted in or anything like that. It's just sitting on there, just to slide it on the pan, make sure everything looked good on that, because I wasn't sure if there was maybe a difference in anything on the pan. We're gonna have to put some upholstery on these, and the only reason I haven't ordered that stuff yet is because I'm really debating on interior color. But we got some more parts that we might have decided that color on our own already on accident. So, and one more thing that I was debating on even doing in this car, but I just decided to do it last minute when I wanted to go pick up some parts the other day, was the doors on this car. The standard VW Bug has the wing window doors. We took out the wing windows. I don't have the window rolled up right now, but it's a one-piece window. It doesn't have the separate part right there. I like this look, but for what I'm doing on the car now, I had to change that. So we got some OEM glass here. But most importantly, we got the wing windows. I probably should look into doing a seal kit on this. 2 OEM VW glass. Pretty clean on the chrome here, so that's good. Then we grabbed some OEM bumpers. This one is bent in right here, so we have a new bash thing here for it. And then we got a rear one. One more thing body-wise that we did to the VW when I built it the first time was we took away the pop-out rear quarter windows, which are so iconic for the VW. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but I think it was something to do along the lines of that how expensive they are, and I was missing parts. I built my Volkswagen from a shelf. I was missing some stuff, and I think it was cheaper just to, you know, get the standard seal. Here, boys, here we got pop outs. Also came with all the rubbers to seal it to the body, which were also the off-white color. These are very expensive. There, I didn't even have any intentions to buy more than half this stuff. I went to buy the wing windows, and I ran into a big VW guy, and I picked up all this off of him. So 2 more little things up here. We got the grab bar for the dashboard, and the color of that really set up the same with this wheel, which is like this off-white color we're going with. And we got all the bits for that with the horn ring and everything in here. Still have that classic look to it with the interior, with the OEM seats, all these OEM bits. I almost forgot to mention that we got the motor back, and we put all the new pieces in here. I already talked about it in another video, but we had a brand new crank installed because our crank was a little bent, and fresh bottom end, you know, rehomed the cylinders, new pistons, new piston rings. The heads were already really new from CB Performance, so we just cleaned up the heads, resealed everything. Got a CompuFire ignition on it now, so we got all that hooked up back behind here. So distributorless, CompuFire ignition, and hopefully that just all clears on my firewall. I'm going to double check on that. And then we went with the Brawler 650, some carb on here, double pumper. And yeah, I'll put a clip of it running right here, but motor is dialed, motor is ready to go in. But it is time to crack open these boxes. Alright, before we crack this open, I do have to give a big shout out to Limebug, who jumped on board with the Volkswagen project. It helped out a ton with the build by hooking me up and getting me set up with a full lowering kit for the Volkswagen Bug. So we're going to open this up. We literally have just the pan, and basically every single thing touching the pan is about to be brand new. The tunnel and the body is like literally going to be the only thing that's not brand new on this build. I have to give a big shout out to Dom over at Limebug, who has been helping me sort out all of this kit and everything I needed for this. I was originally talking to him about the air ride kit that I was going to do, and then I ended up not going air ride just because I wanted to keep it a little bit simple. I wasn't going to be daily driving this car, so the air ride thing was only going to be for like a weekend driver, and it didn't seem worth it. This kit looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to start throwing this thing together. We're going to have to figure out how all this goes, but pretty sure Limebug has plenty of instructions on how to do that. We got a 4-inch narrowed beam. Now, what's currently in the car is kind of crazy. It's a 3-inch narrowed beam. We went with the whole new beam, boys. We got everything we need up front here, like the shock towers. Got to figure all that out. We got the Ultra Pitman arm for the narrowed beam and the narrow tie rods and everything we have in there. Pretty sure these are the front shocks. Those are the rear. 2.5-inch drop spindles. Not sure what this is. I don't know where that goes. We got the 2-inch drop spring plates for the back, and it has this adjustable area here. So not only do you only just have the splines to adjust by, because if you know V-dubs, you can just take it off, change the splines, and actually drop your suspension. We're getting rid of what you would lose for your suspension travel by actually dropping it 2 inches here. We keep full suspension travel on the frame itself, and then we also have this adjustment to get it exactly where we want on lowering the car. So that helps a ton. And then we got all the ball joints and all the bits in there. So just gotta say big thank you to Limebug for jumping on board with this project, and I can't wait to start building the frame and putting all these parts on, and you can really see how good this kit is. So this is a huge upgrade to the car. Can't wait to get started on that. Alright, it is time to cut the pans off the chassis now. So the first thing we had to do was get an upgrade, because I didn't have a cordless Sawzall, but I had to upgrade to match everything else we got. Makita Sawzall, baby. Straight into cutting off the pans, I just dove right in. I realized that I was going to have to cut off these seat brackets I made just to get out of my way, and I wanted to use the scrap metal from it. So I cut those out of the way, and then I learned a few things. So on the other side, I went and pre-drilled 2 big holes on the corners, just so when I met the corner, I didn't have to try to curve the Sawzall itself. So I met to the hole, then went straight down towards the tunnel, put some there to support it, and then I met with the other hole I already pre-drilled using like a step-up bit, and it worked perfectly. Pan's free now and basically just drops right out. Alright, pans are completely cut off, but as I talked about, when we cut the pans, we took the saws out and we just went in an easier spot so we can access this area a little easier. So I cut about an inch away from the pinch weld. Well, I went through and already chiseled out the whole entire strip that was the remainder of the pan left on this side, so you can get a better idea of seeing what we're looking at. But basically you can see there's tack welds all the way. See these little tack welds? All the way down. So you can't really see those tack welds even if you were to scrape off this pan. It's very, very hard to see the tack welds. So drilling them out is almost harder because then you also leave a bunch of holes all over the place. So it's almost easier if you just come in here with a chisel and a hammer. Pretty easy, just takes a lot of time, and just popping up all these welds, trying to get as much of the pan I can get off of here without leaving the remainder. And then we'll come on here with the grinder wheel, grind all that smooth, put our new pans on. This part actually wasn't as bad as I thought. The center part of the tunnel comes up really, really easy. All the tacks break pretty simple. It's just more on the fronter part and the outrigger right here. It's really, really hard to break these tacks loose. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to bend the outrigger since we're going to be keeping that in there, so I was trying to be extra careful around this area. But yeah, this part of the tunnel frees up super easy, and I actually thought it was going to be harder, and I went and bought a air hammer, and I didn't even end up using it. So just this little front part, like I said, those tacks are a little thicker, so it's actually on there pretty good. I got everything unhooked from back here, brake lines, oh, we got so much trans oil still leaking, man. Everything unhooked back here. All I need to do is the 2 frame horn bolts. It's already unhooked from the linkage and the front mount up here. So we should be able just to put a jack under it, unbolt those, and slide this trans out. Finally get this thing out the way. So we currently sit with the bug frame. So I just first attempt at power washing and degreasing the back. It's probably got about 30% of everything off. So it's gonna take multiple tries coming in here with the steel brush, but it's down to a full frame now. Took the trans out. Still got the front end set up in here just to make it easier to have jack points. But I'll probably strip everything off the beam. That way I can start building the other beam that's sitting over there. Getting all, basically my disc brakes and my arms and everything set up on the other beam so we can just bolt it right up. I haven't even started on the body yet, but I came in here, got some of this paint off that was in on the inside in here. Still have to do a lot to the body, but I basically want to get the chassis, new pans, everything on the chassis, and get the chassis into the garage so I can start working on that, and then we can worry about painting this. Day and night, we're out here working on this thing. Still cleaning it. Give me a flash over here. Give me a flash on this side. Look at this side though. Power washed it probably like 3 times, like $40 in degreaser, and you know, like an hour of Juan's labor. Clocked in with the work boots on, ready.
But this should come out clean.
Probably chip away at it for like another hour, and then I'll soak it in degreaser overnight, come back, pressure wash it tomorrow, and it should be good. I'm thinking about using Steel It for the whole chassis. I'm not sure. Should I, or should I just go with paint? I don't know. I feel like Steel It would be the best option, plus it's weldable, so I can like do the whole tunnel, put the floor pans in, tack them in, clean off the floor pans, probably use that Steel It on that. A lot about sandblasting this, but the tunnel's actually already sandblasted. It has a light coat of some paint I used on the interior, but I sandblasted this with the body on last time, but I did the interior of the car. I just didn't get the frame horns because the body was still on back there. So flip this thing over too. I want to get underneath this thing. So really got some work to do to this. Probably like 3 or 4 more days of cleaning and then prepping this thing, painting it, and then pans. So we probably got like 4 more work days total to get into this chassis before we can actually start putting things together. But this is the last bit of like taking it apart. We're at the last steps right now before we start flipping the script and rebuilding it now. So it's been just tearing it down the last couple videos. I think that is going to do it for the bug for now, because I'm just going to spend the next couple days completely cleaning this thing. Next time you see it, I want to get right into putting the pans on and getting the body back on and figuring all that out. I am just so stoked to hear this thing run and finally have a good running car. I will see you guys in the next one.